Welcome back, YouTube, to Randomly Trashed with your host, Commander Trasher. Now, don't you just hate it when you have nothing to talk about with people? For instance, you want to talk to someone, but you don't know what to talk about. You don't know what to tell them. You don't know what for that person to talk to you about. Now, maybe you already known them for a long time. You know, you guys probably were friends for a while, and it's like, you don't know what to talk about. You just sit there and you're like, and it's like, you want to talk to the person, yeah. They may be your friend, they may be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you know, whatever. Or maybe they'll just be some person that you're trying to get to know, but you want to talk to them. And obviously, you don't know what to say. It sucks. Because, you know, you're just trying to get to know the person, or if you already know the person, you want to talk to them, you know, but you don't know what to talk about. And then sometimes it's like, let's just say you're talking with one of your friends and they had, like, I guess you could say a bad day, and you're trying to talk to them about something that happened in your day that was kind of funny or fun or whatever the case may be, and they just don't want to talk about it, like about that. And you're like, all right, so what do you want to talk about? And then they're like, I don't know. The hell you mean you don't know? I came up with something to talk about. I wanted to tell you something that was funny in my day, but you're just like, I don't know. And you don't want to talk about that. So, you know, like, why? But there's other times where it's like, you know, you're talking to a person and, you know, like, let's just say you're getting to know the person. You know everything that you want to know already about that person. You know, you're getting to know them, so you learn the things that you want to know about them. And then you're like, I don't know what to ask you now. And then you're just there like, thinking. And then what happens? Then the other person says, I'm bored, I'm going to go to sleep, or something like that. And you're just there like, wait, no, I don't want you to go to sleep. You know, I want to talk to you. And they're like, well, I want to talk to you too, but I don't know what to talk about. And it's like, sometimes, I'm not saying that the other person doesn't want to talk at the moment, because, I mean, sometimes that happens. Sometimes the other person just doesn't want to talk at that moment, and they don't really they just don't want to talk, so that's why they don't know what to talk about. So, you know, that's why it makes the conversation kind of dull and draggy, and, you know, it's hard to talk about something. But there's times where, you know, the other person, like, it's not that they don't want to talk, that they actually do want to talk, but they just don't know what to say. Sometimes people get shy, sometimes people get nervous, you know. It's just, like I said, you just don't know what to say. And sometimes when people don't know what to say, they get nervous and they start talking about random weird things, like I do on my channel. Now, yeah, so just, like I said, random weird things like, you know, sometimes if they don't know what to talk about, they'll talk about their sex life, or they'll talk about sex. Or they'll talk about, you know, a bum that they saw pissing on the train or something. You know, it's just weird topics that come to their head. And, you know, they don't know what to exactly say to each other. So they'll come up with weird things to say. And then the other person will be like, well, I don't really want to talk about that. Or they'll feel very awkward and they'll feel very weird talking about it. And they won't really want to talk anymore. Like, you'll make them that they won't really want to talk anymore. Even though they wanted to talk to you in the first place, they'll act like they don't want to talk anymore. So it kind of, you know, it sucks sometimes, you know, when it comes to that. But like I said, sometimes it could be hard to talk to people, you know, especially people that you've known for years, you know. And people say, oh, you know, I've known that person for years, I could come up with something to talk about. Yeah, but the topic could dull out very quickly, depending on what you talk about. I've had friends for years, you know, 13 years, 9 years. Sometimes I talk to them and I don't really know what to say. Sometimes we could be hanging out and we won't even talk to each other at all. We just stay quiet. We on the phones, like texting or playing video games on our phones, or we'll play video games with each other. That's the only way that we could actually hang out and be able to talk about stuff. Not all the time, but I mean, sometimes that's how it is. And I mean, it kind of sucks sometimes because we're just like, you know, we're best friends. We've been best friends for years. You know, think about it. Like, why can't we just talk about something? We can't just come up with something to talk about. Something we saw on TV, something we saw on YouTube, something we saw somewhere. We just can't, we don't know what to say. But it happens to everybody. It happens to husbands and wives. It happens to best friends with each other. It happens to parents and their kids. And that's another thing. Parents and their kids, a lot of times they feel like they have nothing to talk about with each other. Those are your kids. They're a lot like you more than you think. So talk about things that maybe that both of you guys are interested in. See, I guess with my father, I'm connected with him by you know, like comic books and stuff, you know, superheroes, stuff like that, you know, like DC and Marvel. I'm connected with him like that. And then with my mom, I'm connected with like bowling and, you know, movies, you know. I mean, yeah, I'm connected with my father in movies too, but I mean, you know, certain movies that my mom watches, like, I know I've seen them, you know, and I like them, and we could sit down and watch them and enjoy it together. So it's like we have things in common with our parents, so we can talk to our parents. Same way how we have things in common with our friends and we can talk to them. We just have to think about the topics that we want to talk about. And I mean, sometimes it could be hard to talk about certain things. You know, it's obvious. It happens to everyone. But I mean, there's always something there. But my personal opinion on it, if you feel like you have nothing to talk about, honestly, maybe you just don't want to talk. Maybe you just, at that moment, you're not really, like, your brain doesn't really want you to talk right now. So it's like it's giving you blanks. It's giving you nothing to talk about. Even though you guys have stuff that you could talk about, you know, or maybe the other person doesn't want to talk and you are trying to put yourself out there to talk to them, but obviously you're drawing blanks because they don't actually want to talk at the moment. If two people want to talk to each other, if they really want to talk to each other, they'll talk. They'll come up with something to talk about. So just remember that. If you can't talk with a person, maybe it's not just you. Maybe it's the other person that actually doesn't want to talk at the moment. And both of you are trying to force to talk to each other. Not saying that you guys actually want to talk. Maybe you guys don't actually want to talk at that moment. But you guys are forcing it, trying to talk at that moment. When you got nothing to talk about right there and then. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, give it a comment. Tell me what you think. And hey, give me some suggestions to talk about on YouTube. You know, things that maybe something that bothers you or a topic that you want to just discuss about or something random. Post it down in the comments below. Tell me what you want to talk about. If you haven't seen me post a video already about it, then most likely I'll post a video about it. Thank you for watching and catch you next time on Randomly Trashed.